you you mentioned about a couple of things where the Indians are good. Anything in particular where the Westerns are good?
Because most of the content is coming from the West.
Mm.
So maybe when it comes to context or when it comes to American usage,
Okay.
those are things like where they will not go wrong because they are used to the terminology.
Okay.
But Indians might go wrong if they don't have good reading habit.
Okay. Okay.
So that's one difference.
Correct. Most important thing which a freelancer always worries is getting good rates.
Yeah.
Correct? Can you tell us how does a freelancer command some good rate, or how does he decide what rates he or she gets is a good rate?
He has to see like what's the effort level that is going into the work, and the compensation has to match accordingly. And if the person is spending enough time on LinkedIn, if he's aware of like what are the rates in the international market, and if he's good enough, he can ask for those rates.
Okay.
But then his work must be delivered on time and with that international quality.
Excellent. And this is where you're saying the association can play some kind of guidelines or those kind of things.
Yeah, they can have some standard rates. So this negotiation thing goes into the back.
Correct. And the freelancer doesn't feel that he or she has been really squeezed for rates.
Yeah.
Excellent. And when we're talking about publishers and the KPOs, what are the core expectations of the publishers and KPOs from the freelancers?
Any KPO or publisher who outsources work, outsources because there is not enough in-house capacity.
Correct.
So when they give out work, they expect the work to come back in a state where it is ready to be sent to production.
Okay.
Without anybody spending time on it to clean it up or to make it production ready.
Right.
But unfortunately that's not the case. They have to spend some time in-house. And part of the reason is because a lot of freelancers have not been exposed to the in-house practices.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe they are good in English, they feel they are good in English. So they start off as a freelancer because there is no entry requirement or any eligibility test. Anybody who feels he is good in English, he can ask for work and he might get work because there is enough work in the market.
Right. When you say English, you're making just general as an English, but it could be any language, it could be the skills of the translator, all that you're referring to, right?
I am basically referring to the grammar part because that's what's most important. But a lot of people who have done their BA or MA in English literature, they feel they are good enough.
Okay.
But they have not been exposed to the intricacies of grammar which is actually required for doing a good job.
Correct. So are there any tools that a freelancer would have in his or her kitty?
Tools, first one I would say he has to be a bookworm.
Then a lot of reading,
yeah,
and a
lot of reading he or she must be doing. Then he must have the habit of referring to the dictionary very frequently.
Okay.
Like he or she can't go by memory, because different words, the same word can have so many meanings.
Correct.
And there can be two words which sound the same but have different meanings. Then some kind of a spell check program and familiarity with the keyboard shortcuts of Word. So these are things which are the tools of a good freelancer.
Right. So how does exactly a freelancer go looking for work? Is there any standard methodology or some formula or some technique where the freelancer decides when he's looking for work?
The first way which most of the people adopt is like they know someone in a KP or a publishing house and they approach that person.
Right.
Or maybe some of their friends are working there, so they get the contact person's name and then they send their resume.
Okay.
And then they're asked to do a test. If they clear that test, they can get work.
Interesting.
Another way is then they can spend time on LinkedIn
Right.
because requirements keep coming up.
Correct.
But they will get those jobs only if they are good enough.
So in short, you're saying networking is very important.
Yeah, networking is very, very important. A lot of time you will get work only if people know you, only if they know you are good enough.
Correct, correct.
Because even if you clear the test, there are so many people, there are so many other people who will clear the same test.
Correct, correct.
And the person who is allocating the job, he will prefer to give the job to someone he knows.
Yeah, so initially maybe your networking, your relationship, subsequently your work speaks for getting you good business.
Yeah.
So these are the core which probably is same in any business.
Yeah.
Coming to not many probably freelancers can afford to have a website of their own, or is it possible that you can have a small
Having a
website?
website is not a very expensive thing.
Correct.
Because there is a basic fee that you need to pay for a year's hosting.
Right.
That's around 1250.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
the basic thing.
So
And there are done.
you insist that everyone should have his own website.
I would say that anybody who is starting out need not have a website.
Okay.
But once you have enough experience, then you can have a website to project your business face to the world.
And are there situations where a freelancer can work independently, or is it a good idea for freelancers to form a pool or a team where probably then the work becomes interesting and they get a variety of work which depends on the core of